can see, we got the Surron here. This is the littlest one out of the three, coming in at 125 pounds, 19-inch rims. This one has upgraded handlebars and a 54-tooth sprocket, but otherwise it's stock. Fantastic little bike. Comes with the KKE forks and rear shock. 60 volt, 38 amp hour battery. Like I said, fantastic little bike. Then we have the step up from that. We have the Talaria MX4. 60 volt as well. But this one's pushing, instead of the 80 amps, it's pushing 120 amps. So it's an 8500 or 8,000 watt motor. So it's a little bit faster than the Surron. It's got a lot more punch. This one is running a 48 tooth rear sprocket. Comes with a 44 tooth stock. I changed it. I actually put the Surron sprocket on here. And I also changed the rear shock to the MX3 rear shock. It's a fast ace rear shock because it's a closed shock, unlike the one that comes on the MX4, which had nitrogen in it. It was just not a good shock for me anyway. I didn't like it, so I contacted who I bought the bike from and told them I wanted to have a different spring because something was wrong with mine. So they warranted it and sent me the MX3 shock, which I asked for, and it's just fantastic. Because I used to have the MX3 before I had the MX4, and I knew the shock was good, so I asked if I could get that one instead. And they had no problem with it. So now it's amp bikes. And this one comes with the factory forks up front. Now coming out now, if you buy one, you may get one with the fast ace forks. So they may be a little different. It might not be the red and the blue up top. Might be both red, but they're still great shocks. Fantastic. This one does not have an air chamber on the bottom. Down here, it's a sealed unit, so you can't add air to it, which is fine, and it's still holding up fantastic. Still great from like day one. Yeah, this is a fantastic bike. This is a machine. That's a toy, a capable toy, but a toy nevertheless. This is more of a bike, a machine. It's like a motorcycle, and you could totally tell the difference from jumping on this to jumping on this. Then we have the Apollo. The Apollo is the newest one to the group. It's running a 74 volt battery, 35 amp hour, pushing 12.5 kilowatts per the manufacturer, but the book says 11, so we'll just go off of 11 kilowatts with 150 amps. And it has a rocket mode button right there, top button. You would hit that button, and that's how you get your 11 kilowatts, and you get it for a burst. Stock is 9 seconds. Now you can have your controller flashed, and they can bump it up to 60 seconds, but you don't get it full time. And see, this is what most people are messing up with. They're comparing this bike to the Ultra B, which is not comparable. Ultra B is 12 kilowatts all the time. This is not. This has a button to get you only a burst on a 12 kilowatt. It's pretty much a Surron with a turbo button. Gives you a burst of power. So it's an upgraded, as I say, upgraded Surron. People are always complaining about the battery not being big enough, but when you're only running 6 kilowatts of power through a 74 volt system, you do not need a big battery. You don't need a lot of amp hours. Because let me tell you what, this bike, running it not in rocket mode the whole time, just running it in rabbit mode. It's got 3 modes, turtle, rabbit, and rocket, and it's got another one reverse. But running it in rabbit mode the whole time, I mean, you're getting easily 70 miles out of the bike. It's crazy. In turtle mode, they're claiming 100 miles, and I believe it. So I haven't done it yet, but we're gonna get close. We're gonna get close to that mileage. I'm gonna do a full range test on this bike, and we're gonna see how it goes. But I want to show you guys a little difference between these rims. Let me get my shadow out of the way. These rims and these rims. These rims are beefy. I mean, they look amazing. Look amazing. And it comes with a rim lock already installed on the rim. I mean, these are absolutely good looking rims. Now this is the first model that came out, so it's got the original display. Now if you buy the RFN now, it comes with the other display, which tells you your miles per hour and your range and mode and all that stuff. This one just tells you your kilometers traveled and what mode you're in, how much battery you have. So the great thing about this bike, why I like this Apollo, is it's got a lift up seat and removable seat to make it a trials bike, which it's pretty cool, man, having 2 bikes in one. You can see now I have a bottle of water under there because I don't like to ride with a backpack, and I need water out here in the desert, so I carry my water up on my bike. Now, this seat also just comes right off, like I said, makes it a trials bike, so you can ride without the seat, you can ride with the seat. And it comes with a wing nut that would go right in here and screw into the top up here, but it also has a suction cup, which you don't need to carry that wing nut. You just need to put this down because it suction cups itself to the fender, so it'll stay down even if you don't feel like riding with that wing nut in, which I don't because I know I'll lose it. And it doesn't come with a headlight, so I just hooked up a supplemental headlight on this so I could ride it at night. But the really neat thing about this is it comes with the controller inside, hidden behind that cover, so your controller doesn't get covered in mud and you know, whatever, it's all protected. Yeah, this bike is actually pretty darn great. You know, it really is. It's not meant for the street. Now they do have a street version, but this version is not meant for the street. This version is meant for the dirt. It's a dirt bike, electric dirt bike, and rides like one. I mean, it's the closest thing to a dirt bike. This is a all around. You go on the street and on the dirt. This is the same thing, street and dirt. But this guy, he's pretty much designed for the dirt. So if you're looking for all-purpose, this is probably not it, even though it'll do it. Another great thing about this bike is there's no transmission except for the chain. This has a belt that goes to a jack shaft to the chain. This one has a gearbox that goes from the motor to the gearbox to the chain. But this one, they just eliminated it. It goes from the motor to the chain to the sprockets. That's it. So it's a direct drive, which eliminates all that failure point. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to do a head-to-head comparison, ride each bike, and tell you my thoughts. Stay tuned.